If budget isn't the limit, I'd source 200 SAT-controlled USVs like the ones used by Ukraine and use them to sink every single Chinese fishing vessel outside of their territorial waters. We'd need a way to get access to shipping manifests to know what will be worth plundering, like a freighter loaded with QBZ-95s. Would fetch a nice price on the collector market, and one loaded up with ONA holes would improve crew morale. K does not realize that 3/4 of plan is in that area, and even if you give Vietnam and the Philippines 3/4 of the US Navy, they still wouldn't do shit. The only reason this didn't happen ages ago was because the Navy was non-existent to pathetic, but once they started slowly growing in the 90s, they started encroaching undefended and unsecured islets and islands. By the 2000s, any country who didn't fortify their position would lose territory permanently like the Philippines did in 2010. B. China. We've always been antagonistic to our neighbors, but this time is totally different, and we swear our navy built up is only for self-defense against the imperialist Great Satanburger capitalist land. Proceeds to imperialize and not give a shit if they're a black kettle. Did people legit fall for this and not manage to see the writing on the wall? I can't be blamed for being ignorant because I was a retarded kid whose biggest worries in life was enduring the horrors of public education, so I could go home and stay up all night playing PS1 games. But what the fuck did the various heads of state think was gonna happen? Shit, if I was president of Pinoy Land back then, I would mind that shit and have asked Worst Korea to help me fortify those little islands further with their magic mountain technology. The problem is that the boats you're going to get are worth shit. The cargo is worth shit, and the people manning them are worth shit. All the bigger, more valuable ships are going to get reflagged. Your best bet would be to go after the fishing fleet and collecting money from environmentalists. VN mentioned. Time for shameless nationalist advertisement on K. Plus 26 anons on one ship. Plus 2 months endurance. I am unsure about the price. But VN Fishery Surveillance technically belongs to VN Ministries of Agriculture, but staffed by second-rate seamen, commissioned 50 of them in 2 batches. It should be cheap. If the standard weaponry is either 2 50 cals or 1 14.5mm RCWS, the RCWS sounds like a scam actually. Only a few ships are equipped with it. But I suppose we could put something worthwhile on the front pedestal. Shameless nationalist advertisement. How's life going over there? 2 months endurance. So it's a glorified fishing boat with a gun, which isn't too bad. The important thing really is encrypted radio. Private companies do bid to transport supplies. PIC Related is currently supplying the outpost and they can't stop it. That's why there's no news about ramming lately. I'm going after the smuggling and pirate ships that transit around Myanmar. I'm thinking teams with slimline scuba gear and sea scooters, on lines with deployable buoys for later retrieval, as well as grapple ladders, swimming from low-speed bypass during their frequent maintenance stops. High powers and Glock clones are all pretty popular, so they can take some 9mm frangible rounds so as to limit collateral on the boats mainly made from marine aluminum and wood. Their primary shouldn't be much longer than their forearm, and /knockoff weapons are pretty commonly available, so I think either MA4s or QBZ-97s for their primary arm. Most of the Chinese pirates are basically blackmailed by the PLA to smuggle weapons and drugs into sea, so they usually give up without a fight. All the better, as I will rescue the galley/deck slaves they forced to run the ship, as well as the sex trafficking victims. They will be brought to the Malaysian village I'll buy with the proceeds from my looted drugs, and either return home or stay to support my pirate paradise. The cutest trafficking victims will become my wives and bear me entire crews of bastards to gift new raiding ships to. I don't think Kay understands just how terrible war and sea would be for the global economy and balance. Literally, some of the largest exporters in the world are in that region, and war and sea will likely put East Asia into the conflict and mess. It'll be like the Houthi situation, but on steroids. World War III in shipping lanes. Privateers are back. Yar! Third Oid starve. It's too risky within the 9-dash line. I suggest hunting down illegal Chinese high seas fishing boats, depleting fish stocks, and damaging the unique environmentals surrounding the Galapagos, for example. The crews are kept typically in near-slave conditions. So board the ships, ransom the captain/company men, release the live catch, tell the crew to steer towards Guayaquil or something. Just get a fast cruiser from back in the day and rip and tear. Fishies eat good. Tugs. Drones that wipe out the tankers, electronics. Drag to port. Build up fleet of tankers and send them to safe zones. Buy more and better gear to the point of having mercenaries storm the things intact. Rinse and repeat. AI-controlled arsenal ships. You'd all get killed because you have no training or experience or even basic research on tactics. You just shoot a gun at a target. The Chinese Navy is big enough to easily defend those shipping lanes, not to mention their air force. I don't have much respect for chicoids, but I still don't see any way you could feasibly pirate in the region and get away with it. You would have to somehow sneak aboard ships and seize or otherwise disable their communications abilities, then pacify the crew. Good luck. Everyone here should be cautioned about OP's motive. He might be using China as a target to get you to give him ideas. And these ideas can easily be put to use in other places like the Red Sea, where forces in Yemen are blockading the shipping lanes. Privateering on your own boat without intelligence on China's doorstep? No thanks. And unanimously greenlights lawful piracy. Any harbors hosting pirates are subsequently repeatedly obliterated by PLAN or PLAAF. While planning Coast Guard vessels now have effectively free rein to board and seize any shipping from the offending states as pirates. All the while, most of the globe supports them because some retards decide to fuck with their trade with China for no goddamn reason. I have it on good authority that some of these rust buckets are still fueled and can be reactivated by those who have the audacity and boldness to seize such an opportunity. Trump geopolitics genius just forced Vietnam to be in China's lap, targeting Vietnam with massive taxes. Japan too, but they are submissive enough that they can be forced to go along with the US anyway, even if there is a high likelihood they will put a lot of effort into being neutral. So the US alone, using his bases in the region. Maybe some nominal Philippine support, and Japan might be fussy about US privateers operating off US bases in Japan. So I would expect US privateers operating out of the Philippine bases to be the most realistic thing as things stand. China has a very capable anti-shipping force, both planes, ships, planes, and missiles. So the most likely way is to operate using loitering sea drones deployed by small, cheap, attritable ships. They are like torpedoes, but stay dormant in area or float just under the water with currents till some target, if convenient, comes in range. Kind of like a sea mine, but with a range of 50 miles. Those would be a serious pain in the ass to handle, and larger immobile version can be deployed by ship or planes on the bottom of the seabed if it's not too deep. That would be likely the most cost-effective way to cause massive damage without exposing US vessels or other assets to island-mounted missiles and planes. As much as I would love some old-fashioned ship-based piracy, it's likely all going to be drones and helicopters in this situation. Do it like the Houthis did. Helicopter a squad over to take the crew hostage, then destroy all tracking/communications equipment on the ship, and change course to any port that will let us dock and sell the stolen shit. Maybe have one heli for transport and another heli for attack and AA.